folks. We're gonna call this video RUMP-topia. Alright, and I haven't made a video for you in a long time. I promise I'm gonna get better about it and start making more videos. But I had to make this video because we had to kind of address the state of the union right now, okay, that we live in. Now, Donald Trump got elected president. He's a president-elect. That is the most ridiculous thing that ever happened in probably, it has to be the most ridiculous thing that ever happened in world history. That he actually got voted in. Okay. He didn't win the popular vote. He lost that by 2 million. But what he did get was the electoral vote from the Electoral College. The Electoral College shows you that the Electoral College is a bunch of bullshit. That's the same thing that happened to Al Gore when Al Gore got elected president. And then they finagled and fucked around with the Electoral College and wound up getting George Bush elected. It was disastrous. And you think George Bush was disastrous? You just wait. Now, I don't understand a couple of things. One is black people, first of all, telling other black people not to vote, but then telling them, listen to me. That's fucking ridiculous. Do you know how retarded that is? Donald Trump, in his rallies, it's not even anything you have to research. He was kicking black people out of his rallies, telling the white people to beat them up right in front of you. And you voted for him, and you tell black people don't vote. I mean, you might not like Hillary Clinton, but Hillary Clinton ain't gonna kick no black person out of her rallies because they're black. Donald Trump said, I'm gonna go after Muslims, I'm gonna go after Hispanic people, I'm gonna go after black people, and I'm gonna go after women. And he got a 1/3 of the Hispanic vote. Women voted for him. There was even black people voting for him, and then black preachers talking about Donald Trump is being used by God. You see, so you kind of get what you deserve. You know what I mean? You kind of deserve what you ask for. You know. But Donald Trump has never liked black people. He's always been a racist. It's not like he turned out to be one during the election, just saying stuff to get elected. He really is a racist for real, and he really is a sexist for real. So now you see, as he's putting all these people in his cabinet, where is the representation of the people who voted for him? He's putting all white people in the power positions. All white people of a conservative and alt-right nature. Alt-right simply is a term that's just used for white supremacists. So that's what you got to look forward to. Now, Barack Obama was the number best president in the history of the United States, and Donald Trump plans on rolling back everything Barack Obama did. There's 30 million people on health care through the Affordable Care Act called Obamacare, and Donald Trump plans on doing away with that. Donald Trump also said he was going to prosecute Hillary Clinton. Now he's retracted, saying he's not going to do. He doesn't want her when they're good people, but he still said it to get elected. Now, Hillary Clinton's never been convicted of anything. She's never even been charged with anything. So, because Fox News and other news sources repeat over and over and over. Now, Fox News is the only news source that's purported to be legitimate. It isn't legitimate, but purported to be legitimate, that says over and over and over that Hillary Clinton's a criminal. You don't see the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or any of the AP saying over and over and over that Hillary's a criminal. Now, you may see an op-ed saying it, but that's an op-ed. That's just somebody's fucking opinion, so that shit don't mean shit. So, but what does mean something is that all the people that he is putting into cabinet positions are people that think that the average person should not get anything from the government. So at that point, they want small government, but they want to deregulate everything for corporations. So at that point, they believe in the government because they use the government to deregulate everything. And what's that do? That enables them to be able to get away with murder. Now, they also are completely against labor unions. Labor unions are thug unions. Oh, just watch the Jimmy Hoffa movie. That's just Hollywood. It's just bullshit. Labor unions are overall positive because they create an environment, peripheral environment, and an environment within the labor union that's democratic. And there's other democratic institutions that pop up around labor unions. So you create a situation where you have more diversity. And you have less centralized power. Okay, so their big push is, oh, you have to pay you're forced to pay union dues. Okay, so if you get a job paying you 60, 70, 80 grand a year as a skilled worker, and you got that job because there's a labor union, and to be in that union to continue, because the union will protect you and stuff like that from the company you work for. So to be in that union, you pay $100 a year or something like that, you're making 60, 70, 80 grand. And the other thing that RUMP is going to do is that, he's going to make women suffer. He's already said it. He said that women need to be punished when they get an abortion. There has to be some form of punishment. Now, first of all, he don't even have a pussy. He don't have any titties. He's not a girl. He has no idea what it's feels like to be a woman. He has no idea what the struggles, challenges, anything. He's not a female. Women are women. Women know what's best for women. They just do. It's like, women probably actually know what's best for men too. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it makes no sense to society that we live in because men dominate women, but women are the majority. And the universe is even female. So it makes no sense whatsoever that men dominate women in this society. And, half the law school students in the world, especially in the United States, I know of, are female. And so that means the majority of the lawyers are going to wind up being women. So if we make it through Donald Trump's presidency, which there's a chance that we won't, I'll go into that in a second, women will take over the law. You see. But there is a good chance that we won't make it because Donald Trump just basically doesn't believe in climate change. He doesn't believe in global warming. Now, there's global warming is science, okay? 97% of climate scientists, that's scientists that analyze climate change in the world, say that global warming is a fact, okay? So to go up against that, you have to be a buffoon. You see, now we know that the Republican Party, the far right Republican Party, they're buffoons because they all say that, based on what 3% of scientists say, that global warming is not a fact. But they traditionally have been the party of, oil, gas, energy sector, the business community, and they basically patronize and serve that aspect of the business community. And then, of course, they get rewarded, and they get campaign contributions, and they get, other stuff too. If you were to investigate, you find out that they're getting from those corporations that are, involved in the energy sector. And out of the Fortune 500, I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure half the corporations are tied to energy. You see what I'm saying? So, So those people don't believe in climate change. Now, all the scientists say that at this point we have to stop our reliance on fossil fuels. We have to stop. There's no question about it. There's no conjecture. There's no middle ground. If we don't stop right now, then the effect of global warming is irreversible, and it's basically it'll basically destroy organized life on this planet, because it'll flood the majority of the land masses, or it'll flood enough of the land masses where there's so many people till they'll have to relocate to other places, until it'll create just pandemonium. See, and a lot of people will die because there'll be other things, like forest fires going on where they shouldn't be. There'll be, all kinds of tornadoes going on where they shouldn't happen. There'll be flooding going on where it normally doesn't occur. There'll be, rain where it doesn't rain. There'll be no rain where it's supposed to rain, and all that kind of stuff. There'll be all kind of different species of animals to die, and that's already happening. And then there'll be invasive species that replace them, that further erode the environment. So Donald Trump, since he got elected president-elect, he said, I'm going to increase our shale oil production. And what that means is that those companies that do fracking and that do tar sands oil production, they're going to step up their efforts. So if you ever watched any videos about that, you see them just raping the environment, just completely decimating it. And, even their own scientists say that we can't do it that much, but they don't give a fuck, because the people that elected Donald Trump are basically, on a deeper level, what they're complaining about is we're not able to do what we used to do, which is, support our families adequately, have job security, have the decent, better things in life. As long as we work for them, we get them. But then a lot of that's anger. And a lot of it's anger that is directed at the government through intense propaganda campaigns that come from the corporations. The corporations have every interest in people blaming the government for their woes and taking their eyes off the corporations, because it's the corporations that actually are the ones who lobby for dismantling the system of currency regulations called Bretton Woods during the Nixon administration. Then that enabled corporations to speculate with their profits, which means they can basically gamble it all away, and some of them did do that, i.e. Enron, and even the richest county in the United States, Orange County, California, filed bankruptcy, speculating on the Chinese yen overnight. This is all confirmable shit. Then, during Reagan, Reagan was able to say, well, now that we have this newfound corporate power, we're not going to let the government get in the way of it, and we're going to, although we can't really push the Wagner Act away, which is the right of free association, or the right to organize in the workplace. In other words, the right to have a labor union. What we're going to do is we're just not going to enforce the Wagner Act. And as soon as they said that, they just start firing niggas left and right. The most black people lost their jobs right after Reagan said that ever in the history of the world. And because they had no protection anymore, you see. Because the people, the demographic is completely bombarded consistently and constantly with propaganda that says that the source of their problems is the government. So see, they associate black people with the government because black people are said to get the most welfare, and you got the black welfare queen driving her Bentley, going to pick up her welfare check so she can take it to Jamal, so they can sell some crack, you know, all that bullshit. And that is really how that demographic is basically propagandized. I mean, you say, is it that ridiculous? Yeah, it's that ridiculous. That's the propaganda. So, so the demographic that elected Donald Trump, all the corporations, you know, took their jobs away. All right. Now, so you've got, once again, back to Reagan. So, then during Jimmy Carter's administration, and you know, Jimmy Carter was actually the president, besides Bill Clinton, that had the highest IQ ever of any president. And he was also the richest president. He was a, you know, Georgia peanut farmer. And they made it so that during his administration, that he couldn't get anything done. Just like they tried to do to Barack Obama. It's just that Barack Obama has an IQ of about 170. So he's basically smarter than all Republicans, which is why he was able to have so many accomplishments between getting some legislation passed in Congress, as well as mixing that up with the executive orders that he used. And so so after Carter, and you've got, here comes Bush, and everything's primed up for the corporations to just do whatever the fuck they want to do. Okay. Because of Reagan. And they lobbied and got this law passed called, well, this framework for these series of laws called GATT. That's the General Agreement Against Tariffs and Trades. Now, we're taught that it's the North American Free Trade Agreement that is the culprit, but that's not it. It was during Bush that GATT, G-A-T-T, the General Agreement Against Tariffs and Trades, was implemented. And that enabled the corporations to take their manufacturing overseas, not North America Free Trade Agreement, which is Mexico and Canada, but overseas to Southeast Asia, to China, to Bangladesh, to India, the sweatshops that are far, far, far away with no oversight, no EPA. You see, no protections, no environmental protections, no protections for wages, anything like that. Just, you know, a field day for the corporations to be able to rake the environment, don't have any oversight whatsoever, pay the people nothing hardly, and basically the way the General Agreement Against Tariffs and Trades works, they could ship the items they manufactured for $2 over in Southeast Asia somewhere, Manila, and they could ship them back all the way over here and not have to go through customs. Well, it goes through customs, but they don't pay any taxes on shipping it back over here because it's manufactured someplace foreign. It basically says wherever that U.S. corporation is, on their route back is U.S. soil, so they don't have to pay any taxes on it. You see how evil that is? So they can take your job away overseas, pay somebody $2 to make it, ship it back over here, don't pay any taxes, and then sell it to you for $199. You get to put it on credit because you don't got the money to pay for it because they took your job away. But the propaganda, which is corporate, because of the corporates own the media, the corporations own the media. So the propaganda says, oh no, it's the government. Oh no, it's the government. Oh no, it's the government. It's the government giving handouts to niggers. That's the problem. We can't have that. But the corporate sector that complains about it and that purports the propaganda gets all their money, or, you know, a lot of their money, especially when they get going on a project. They want to try out an idea. They get that funded from the government for a grant, research and development grant, training grant, something like that. You don't got to pay that money back. That's federal money. That's your tax dollars. Giving them the money, or they get a loan, which is like, you know, 1% interest for $30 billion and they can pay it back over 2,000 years for, at some, ridiculously low payment that you and me could afford if somebody loaned me that much money, I could take that long to pay it back. The payment would be so low. See, only the corporations can get that. But the corporate media, the media is not liberal and the media is not biased conservative. It's not biased liberal. Some outlets are kind of biased either way, but the mainstream media is not biased either way. It's just corporate. Okay, so to follow what the agendas are, you have to just look at it from the framework of two things: class conscious corporations. And when I say class conscious, I mean racist. Okay, they, how many black CEOs are there in the Fortune 500? Right, rest my case. So that was the first thing. Then you had Clinton get elected, and then they passed the North American Free Trade Agreement. And if you notice in the media now, that's all the corporations talk about. That's all they really let them talk about. They let them talk about NAFTA, because NAFTA is Mexico and Canada. Corporations can take their manufacturing base to Mexico or Canada, and they take the attention off of GATT, which enables them to go all over the rest of the world. You see, and they don't have to pay any taxes or tariffs on those goods and services. If you notice, Donald Trump, artfully, all he talked about was Mexico and Canada for trade. They all know what the fuck is going on. You see? So you've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. And the people who voted for Donald Trump, that's, middle America, that used to be the middle class, that wants to be the middle class again. I know this for a fact because I'm basically I'm in at least 60 homes, 65 different homes a month. Every month. Not that many, let's see. Well, about 40 homes a month, right? And out of the 40 homes a month I go to here in Texas, 30 of those people, when I get to their home, are watching Fox News. And Fox News is the least accurate mainstream news source that there is. The least accurate. Now, and also, they use fake news, which is what's called chatbots. And chatbots just simply use artificial intelligence to figure out what the conversation is on a social media post. And then they go in and they just bombard that post with a bunch of conversation which is relative to disrupting the point of the post or supporting it. So, and with Hillary Clinton post, on social media and stuff like that, the chatbots would attack the post for Hillary, and then they would you would have 1,500 comments, but it would be negative comments, but it would really just be from an artificial intelligence chatbot. It wouldn't even be a real person, because when you look at the profiles of some of the comments, you would see that they wouldn't even be a real profile. They wouldn't even have been used for like over 4 or 5 years. They're just They're just auto-generated websites from artificial intelligence. That's all they are. They're not even real people. And this is what helped Donald Trump get elected. So this is what they used on the people that elected Donald Trump. Because those people are generally, the majority of them are, not college educated or slightly college educated. And they're people that, want to do skilled or semi-skilled or not highly skilled labor jobs that, to, pursue the American dream or whatever. So since they've been taught all that time that it's black people, it's black people, it's black people, it's the government, it's black people, it's the government, it's black people, it's the government, along comes Donald Trump, and artfully, just like Adolf Hitler, He just taps into that anger and that fear and that whiteness. Now, white people are the reason why they're held up as the master race by the elites is because they respond the most to repetition and programming. So LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, said that I can tell if I can convince the lowest white man that he is higher than the highest black man, then not only will he give me his money, he'll empty his pockets out for me. Okay. So that tells you right there. White people are always just been used for evil, you see. And that's the thing about white cultures. They don't last because they're generally based on evil, you see. And so they want to make sure this one don't last, because what it is, they don't want to give the world over to the results of Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama was basically saving the world, see. And he did so many things positive until, it would take you, months to just count them up. He did it every day of his life, and they hate that because they want to be able to say that, the Constitution, the founding fathers, and the founding fathers were all racist. So along comes the correct president, who was Barack Obama, and he did such a great job. They just can't take it. And even when they obstructed him the whole time he was president, he still did a fantastic job. You see, and them white people they cannot take that shit. They hate that shit. They just hate it. So what they'd rather do is they'd rather destroy the planet than let the rightful people inherit it. And that's the people of the melting pot, America and the rest of the world, which basically people that have race mixed for so long till they're technically another race now, the golden race. And Barack Obama was the perfect example of that. Now, Trump and his cabinet and Republicans are just like the Nazis, and the Nazis despise race mixing. Although, what they discovered is that the majority of the Jews had race mixed in the ancient times with the Ethiopians, and that was the reason why they wanted to kill all the Jews, and even why some Jews, which were Khazarian Jews, helped Hitler funding to kill the Jews that had mixed with the black people, and they didn't want that evidence. You see. They were trying to eliminate that. They hated race mixing because the progeny of race mixing are the way the Nazis think about shit. That progeny is superior to them because you see how much smarter Barack Obama was than all them crackers in Congress. You see, they just see that they know the Nazis tested everything. They know that children born of interracial relationships where the parents love each other are smarter than them. They know that those children are smarter than them. They're smarter than regular black people and they're smarter than regular white people. And they can't have that, but to them that person's black. And really that person is black. So they just can't take it. Because one drop of black blood, you ain't pure white no more. See? Like Public Enemy said. Black man, white woman, black baby. Black woman, white man, black baby. And that's the case. So, and they know that in a couple generations, pretty much that, that they will be in the minority. And so and also their birth rates are slipping. And then they're also dying off on other ways, like drug addiction. These are the white people and other kind of things. Nobody tells them crackers to stick no fucking heroin needle in their arm. Then they're gonna blame you. And then the government subsidizes programs for them to rescue them. But if a black person gets caught with a little bit of crack, oh my God, they're going to jail for life. You see, this is the kind of shit. So this is what Make America Great Again meant. It meant Make America White Again. Where we whites just get all the privileges. What we say goes. We get every advantage, and we're tired of these niggers. That's pretty much it. So, so I just wanted to kind of clear that up, you know, about, you know, why Donald Trump got elected and what it's all about. But, you know, there's a possibility that, you know, he won't last as president. He'll get impeached, or some conflict of interest will come up. They'll get rid of him, you know, something like that. But, you know, you're still going to have all those cabinet members, all those posts made of all those white supremacists. So we got a lot of challenges on our hands, and there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of problems that are going to come up out of that. And there's a really, really, really good possibility. You know, it's right now, it's December 1st, 2016. It's a good possibility, you know, that Earth won't even make it 4 years from now. I mean, not in an organized fashion because of climate change, global warming, and the proliferation of nuclear weapons between Russia and the United States. They have a new treaty where they can take small payload weapons that are nuclear and use them on a battlefield. Nobody wins. See? So between those two things, more than likely, the Earth ain't gonna make it. So, you know, hopefully I'm wrong on that, but, you know, common sense tells you, you know, we're on the brink of human extinction, or organized human life as we know it. We're on the brink of that being over. So, anyway, just wanted to make that video for you. I'll go ahead and upload it. There you go.